Hello friends, this weekend is my Patreon readathon weekend and we are doing a repeat of a readathon we loved last year, and that is Choose Your Fate. And I've changed it up a little bit this year to make it based off the fates of Olympus. And we have to interact with 3 fates and they are going to give us 3 books to get through the weekend. This is all starting tomorrow. However, I still have about 2 hours left on Thursday sprints, and I don't really feel the need to start another book and then start this tomorrow. So I'm going to start the weekend early. I know it's like 5 o'clock somewhere, but is it like Friday somewhere? It totally is too. Like if I was in Australia, it would be Friday. So for our first fate that we are interacting with, we needed to use a spinner wheel to pick our book. 3 books that we were most excited about, 3 books that we were less excited about. So I will insert my spinner wheel here. Luckily, it gave me one of the ones that I am excited about, and it's actually my in-person book club book for February. So I needed to read this book anyway. So the fates have seen good to shine upon me for at least this first one. Let's not get too cocky because it could change at any minute. But I'm going to be reading The Spare by Ava Rani. Truly, I know nothing about this book. I know absolutely nothing. It is for a new in-person book club. This is the first time I'm going to it. It's the first time it's happening. It's a contemporary romance book club, and this is a billionaire romance. And the only reason I know that is because it's on the front. So let's dive in to this weekend. Let's see what the 3 fates have in store. Let's see how the weekend goes and how the weekend progresses. Can I read all 3 books the fates want me to read in a weekend? It will really depend if they keep giving me good ones or not. And truly, I don't know because I haven't prepared for the next one. I'm also a little bit nervous to read a billionaire romance because the only billionaire romance I have ever read is the Daydream Billionaire series. And I only read the first one and I didn't really love it. So I don't even know if this is like a subgenre of, or like a trope of romance that I like. But let's dive into this weekend and see what 3 books I will read over 3 days. Well, 3 days and an extra like 2 hours of Thursday. And I'll bring you along.
My perfect date starts in a small cafe. There's hearts everywhere cause it's Valentine's Day. We order up waffles, then share the whole plate. Sit by the window and start to debate.
So it is Friday morning and I'm coming to you a little bit earlier than I planned. I'm only 41% through this book, which is still a ways through, but I usually wait till about the 50%. But I'm right about to start chapter 25 and I feel like the book is about to take like a pivot. Not in a bad way, but the story is definitely changing. And I thought I should update before that happens. Also, I got book mail. It's not actually book mail, but it's bookmarks. And I wanted to open them and I wanted to open them with you. So there's the 2 reasons why I'm here a little faster than planned. So in The Spare, we follow 4 childhood friends who are all from either new money, 2 of them because they're brothers, and kind of wealthy, affluent families, a brother and a sister. So we follow Sloane, who is our female character, and her older brother, Henry, who is basically the heir to their family's pharmaceutical business. They have generational wealth. This company has passed to the oldest family member every, generation. And Henry is about to get the company. She is the spare. And she is really out to make her own mark in the world aside from her family. She got her lawyer degree. She's going to be partner in a firm that is not attached to her family. She does recognize that obviously her last name has helped her move through the ranks of things, but she is really out there kicking ass, taking names. Henry's best friend is Marcus and Sloane's best friend is Xander, and they are both brothers as well. And they met in school, and Marcus has built his own company called Sudden Industries, and he has built it. It is this new huge company, and he has put in a lot of work. And he has been traveling for the last 2-ish years and has finally come home to New York. And we see a lot of interpersonal relationships between the 4 friends because Xander and Marcus don't have the best brother relationship. After their parents died, it did create a rift in their brotherly relationship. Sloane and Henry don't necessarily have the best, as you know, him getting the company has put a little bit of a, you know, rift between them as well. So there's a lot of interpersonal things at play between these four characters. And I really like all four individually. I really, really do. Xander and Sloane, they're BFFs, and I really love their relationship and their little like inside jokes. Love them. Henry and Marcus, their relationship is a little bit different. Marcus has been gone for 2 years, but their friendship is still strong as well, and they definitely are ready to call each other on their crap. And Marcus has big time feelings for Sloane. It's one of the reasons he hasn't come home in 2 years, because obviously he feels like he can't be with Sloane. It's his best friend's little sister. It's his brother's best friend. And also Henry's grandfather, who is the owner of this very large pharmaceutical company, is Marcus's mentor and helped him kind of find his way in business. So it's his mentor's granddaughter. Like, she is off limits. She also has a crush on Marcus. And I absolutely adore their banter, and I love their chemistry. Their chemistry is top tier. Sloane has gotten the opportunity to go to the London office to help get that partner position that she has been wanting. Marcus needs to go to London for work. So now they are both about to jet off to London, be away from family, be away from friends. They are literally on the way to London, and I think this is when they finally admit their feelings and get together, and I cannot wait. Because truly, the sexual chemistry between these two characters is top tier. It is dripping with it, and I cannot wait for them to get together. So I knew that we were changing locations. We're heading off to London, and I think this book is about to take a very maybe smutty turn. But before I get back to reading, I do want to open these bookmarks. These are from Bree from Four Paws in a Books. Thank you, Bree. Her top tier patrons get bookmarks. Here we are. I don't actually know what these look like unless it's the one that she sneakily showed me the other day while we were on crafting sprints, which is possible. But even then, like seeing it through the camera of StreamYard, not the same as seeing it in person. But I don't know if it's even that one because I'm a couple of bookmarks behind because of the postal strike that happened in Canada. So I don't even know which ones these are. So let's open it up. Let's see what we get. Let's see if the pull is good. You just never know if you're going to get a good pull. It's not a good pull, friends. It needed a little help. But once I helped it, it got good. Okay, let's see what we got. Yes, this is not the ones that I knew I was getting. This is ones previous. Okay, hold on. Let me open it. There's more than one in here. There are 2 bookmarks in here. So one is take time and do what makes your soul happy. Oh, I love this bookmark, Bree. Oh, I love the colors. The colors are fabulous. And then, oh, Bree, these are stunning. Okay, cozy up with a good book. Oh, and look at the stars. Look at those stars and how they glitter. Well, I can't wait to use both of these. Truly, cannot wait. We might even use them this weekend depending on if they match my books. Because again, my bookmarks, I like to match them to my books. Well, I'm going to go read more of The Spare because I'm absolutely obsessed with it. Honestly, is it the best book ever written? No. But is it a good time? And am I absolutely adoring this couple? Yes. So I am going to dive in because I think I'm going to wrap this up pretty quickly this afternoon.
Nobody else I'd rather spend my everyday with. I think it's sweet, she sometimes winks when she laughs. I like the way she dances barefoot in the grass. Yeah, we get along alright. 'Cause I've been dating me my whole life. Afternoon sun starts to peek through the clouds. We take the back street.
So we are on the final sprint for tonight, and I just finished The Spare by Ava Ronnie. And honestly, I went into this with so low expectations. And not because of anything about this book, I just knew nothing about it. So I guess I went in with no expectations, not low. I went in with no expectations. And I am so happy I picked up this book. I'm going to give this 5 stars. I had such a fabulous time with this couple. This couple and this friendship familial group is one of my favorites. I love the friendship between Sloane and Xander. I absolutely adored their playful friendship, but like there's so much love in it. I love how they all love Marcus and know that he's been through a lot and they're there for him no matter what. And I love how their relationship comes together, and I love how they work towards things together. And yes, there's a lot of complexity because, you know, she's part of this board and he owns a like competing company, and there's a lot of history in their families. But the way they show up for each other and the way they love each other, it's so great. It's fabulous. The only thing that I didn't love about this book, which had nothing to do with the book, which is why I gave it 5 stars. It has nothing to do with this book. I did not love the audiobook during the smut scenes when it was the female narrator. The way she narrated the smut scenes was just not a favorite for me. It was just not something I enjoyed. But like overall, I loved this book. So I just kind of like read those scenes versus listening to them on the audio. They were great. The book is great. Adored the book. Loved it. 5 stars. I've already ordered the sequel because I must read the sequel immediately. I don't know when I'm going to read the sequel. Obviously, it has to arrive first, but like I must read it. The sequel follows Sloane's brother, Henry. There's also going to be a 3rd book that comes out in May that follows Xander. And truly, I cannot wait to read Xander's book. Xander, for me, holds a place close to my heart like Henry does in Icebreaker. That is high praise for a side character in a romance. And honestly, this has nothing to do with hockey. It didn't reminisce in any way to Icebreaker, except this like friendship group. The way they were together, even though this one has a lot more complexity to it and a lot more baggage and a lot more things going on underneath, the way that these characters were in this tight-knit group really did kind of remind me of Icebreaker in some ways. Honestly, if I had access to it right now, I would probably put it in the running for this second fate, but I don't. But it is time to find out what I am reading for the second fate. For the second fate, we have to use a random number generator, the numbers between 1 and 4. And whatever number comes up, that is the page number of our next book. So if I get a 1, the book has to end in the 100 page mark, a 2, 200, 3, 300, 4, 400, and so on. So I have my computer right here. We're on sprints too, so it'll be interesting to try to use a random number generator at the same time, and we'll see what number I get. So I have numbers 1 through 4 on this number generator. Let's see what we generate. A 2. Ooh, that's a nice small number. Okay, let me find a book that has like a 201. So for a book with 200 pages or ends somewhere in the 200 page mark, I'm actually going to go with a graphic novel, and I'm going to read the graphic novel Check Please. This is a graphic novel that is on, I believe, my buzzword reading challenge for punctuation in the title, and it looks so cute, and I've heard such amazing things about this graphic novel. So this is what I'm going to read next. A little bit of a secret, but I did get my second book, which is going to be Check Please.
Ooh.
What did I graphic novel next?
I think I remember when that was in a book haul. Was that like a very cozy vlog or something you were doing?
Very recently I got this, just like at the end of,
To avoid the crowds.
So it is the next day. Obviously, I'm back in my office because I do have 4 hours of sprints for the Choose Your Fate readathon with my patrons. We just started. We are 4 minutes into our first sprint, and I do need an audiobook for this morning. I have a few things that I need to do. So obviously a graphic novel does not work for an audio. I have made it a good chunk of the way through this, but I am going to put it down, and I'm going to wait to tell you my thoughts until I finish because there would be really no difference between now and the end. It's a graphic novel. So I will come back when I finish this, but I do need an audio. So I've decided to start on my third fate book. For the third fate, obviously within the fates of Olympus, the third fate represents death. So how I made this prompt was that you had to go read the death of a series, which I said was the final book in a series. So I needed to read a final book, and I am going back to a series that I'm very, very nervous to read the final book of because most people dislike strongly the last book in this series. We're going to go back to A Good Girl's Guide to Murder and read As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. Most people I know did not like this. A lot of them DNF'd it. So I am very nervous, and it's probably why it's taken me so long to get to this book. And truly, a lot of people who didn't like the third book still liked the second, and I didn't really love the second. I gave it 3 stars. I adore the first book. The first book I gave 5 stars with my whole heart. Like, I love the first book. The second felt unnecessary to me. The reasons that our main character was investigating a murder in the first book made sense. It felt like a stretch. The entire reasoning behind the second book felt like such a stretch. And I'm nervous that that will continue in this book, but we'll see. Maybe because I didn't like the second book, I'll actually like the third. Because a lot of people who liked the second didn't like the third. So like there is that possibility. We're about to find out. I'm going to start this on audio and hopefully get to at least 50% of this today and then finish it out tomorrow and finish this later today as well. That's kind of the plan.
Waltz over sidewalks and twirl in the breeze. She'll catch me if I get weak in the knees. There's nobody else I'd rather spend my everyday with. She doesn't mind that I don't know how to cook. She likes the way I keep my nightstand filled up with books. And I think it's sweet she sometimes winks when she laughs. I like the way she dances barefoot in the grass. Yeah, we get along alright. 'Cause I've been dating me my whole life. She doesn't mind that I
So I am just getting ready for bed. I'm listening to As Good as Dead. I just did my skincare. I'm in my pajamas. Like it is the end of the day. It's 10:30 at night. But I am at the 48% point. So I wanted to update you so I could keep reading. Because honestly, I'm loving this book. I'm having a great time. Is it as good as the first one? No. But for me, it's significantly better than the second at this part of the book. I have been told the second half of the book is not as good. And that's where it lost a lot of people. So we'll see if that's the case for me. But right now, I'm having a really good time. I feel like a lot of things happened in the second book that I felt didn't really make a lot of logical sense. So the first case in the first book, Pip decides to try and solve this cold case. She is doing it for a school project, and because she has a connection to one of the characters that is involved in this, and there's a reasoning for why she's investigating this. In the second, we have these grown-ups, grown adults coming to an 18-year-old girl, Pippa, and saying, you need to solve this current active missing persons case. And that made no sense to me. No adult, no grown-up is going to go to a teenager and try and involve them in solving a crime. You just wouldn't do that. And the things that led to the ending of that book, a lot happens in book 2. And Pippa is really struggling with what happens in book 2. And we really see her with some post-traumatic stress from book 1 and book 2. There's a lot of things that are happening. But I feel like this is a natural progression where the second book felt really unnatural. No adult would request that of an 18-year-old. What's happening in here, I think, is a natural progression of the things that have happened to Pippa up to this point. So I think that's why I'm liking this one more, because I can at least see, yes, this book makes sense. I felt like the other book didn't make any sense. From conception of plot. And for me, that's my opinion. Obviously, a lot of people disagree because a lot of people like the second book and dislike this one. So, differing of opinions, that's fine. But at 48%, I'm really enjoying it. This one also has a little bit of a serial killer going on, a little bit of a serial killer vibe. And I always do love a murder mystery or a thriller that has a serial killer vibe. It has mixed media in it. Does not really have many podcasty bits. And there is less mixed media in this one than is in the first book, but there is some of it. And the audiobook is done just as well with those as it was in the first and the second book. I may listen to more of this in bed once I crawl in and get cozy. That's very, very possible. And I will definitely finish this out tomorrow. I also still need to finish Check Please. My plan was to go back to that when I had time to sit down, but what I've done is just continue listening to this. I literally didn't want to stop, so I didn't. And I've just been listening to this anytime I can read today. This is what I've been doing. So I will get back to Check Please tomorrow. And I will finish this up tomorrow. And I think we're supposed to get quite a bit of snow tomorrow. I think that's what's in the forecast. So it might just be like a snow day where we read. And I'm really not mad about that.
I don't know how to cook. She likes the way I keep my nightstand filled up with books. And I think it's sweet. She sometimes winks when she laughs. I like the way she dances barefoot in the grass. Yeah, we get along alright. I've been dating me my whole life.
So it is now Monday, and I have a ton of B-roll from yesterday where I did read the rest of those 2 books, but I never came and talked to you because it was like the middle of the Super Bowl when I finished. So let's talk about both of them now. Let's start with As Good as Dead by Holly Jackson. This book does take a turn in the second half. I was not mad about this turn. I actually had a good time reading it, but I could see why some do not like it. Truly, like I really did enjoy the second half of this book just as much as the first, even though the vibe was very different. And it is a different vibe from the previous 2 books. But again, I do think you can see the progression through what has happened to Pip that got us to this point. I don't think it's as illogical as book 2, which is why I'm giving this 4 stars. So I have officially finished the Good Girl's Guide to Murder series, kind of. Because since the trilogy has come out, there has been like a novella come out that follows Pippa at like a murder mystery party, but for the happenings of the first book. Now it is a novella and I'm not necessarily sure if I have any interest in reading it. So let me know if I need to read Killjoy. Honestly, I'd be kind of happy to call the series complete from the trilogy. And I don't know if I really care about a murder mystery party that really has nothing to do with the cases in this book other than like meeting the friendship groups. But if you think I really need to read it, you tell me and I will read it. I'm also not a big novella reader. Like I love a full-length novel. I will read novellas occasionally, but I tend to gravitate towards full-length books. Now with Check Please. I did not love this as much as I was expecting. I've heard great things about this and I can see why some people really like this. I, however, had things I liked about it and things that I wish that were different. And I'm going to give this a 3-star. It was very middle of the road because of that. In this, we follow Biddy, and Biddy is going to college. He was on his high school hockey team. He was also on his high school's like figure skating team and does both, and also really likes to bake. All of that had my attention. And we see Biddy starting a podcast or like a YouTube vlog series talking about going to college, talking about joining the hockey team and the players on the hockey team. And I really did like that concept quite a bit. I would have liked to have seen more of that. More of the YouTube vlogging little episodes. I felt like they were few and far between, and I would have liked to have seen more of it. What I would have liked to seen less of is the frat boy nature of this book. There was so much time where we were like, yay, haters! And I just didn't care. I didn't care. There was also a lot of hockey, which makes sense. That's an odd critique, I understand. But like when I read a hockey romance, I don't necessarily want a ton of like actual hockey practices and hockey content. This is not a romance, but like there is a romance subplot in here, but it isn't a hockey romance. It's just like a boy, college, growing into your own, joining hockey experience. But still, I can only relate it to what I read a lot of that is hockey related, and I just don't really need to see that much hockey content. I would have liked to have seen a lot more of the vlogging content, actually. But I do know a lot of people love this series, and I'm just kind of maybe not the target audience for this, which is totally fair and totally fine. I did really like the writing style of this graphic novel, and I really liked the artwork of the graphic novel. I just would have liked to have seen less of the frat stuff, less of the college boy stuff, and less hockey, which is weird because it's a hockey graphic novel. So like, it's me. I'm the problem, probably. But with that, I have read 3 books in a weekend, and I have completed all 3 fates. And honestly, the sequel to Despair arrived this morning, and if I had any amount of time to dive into that this week, I totally would. Like, this is a series that I am going to read very, very quickly. Well, I mean, I'm waiting on the last book, but as soon as that comes out, I might even like drop everything because truly, I am so excited to continue that series. So it was a fairly solid weekend of reading overall. If you've made it all the way to the end of the comments and have nothing to say to me down in the comment section, but would like to let me know that you were here, please leave you know what, let's leave a hockey stick or some sort of hockey related emoji. I don't actually even know if that's a emoji, but something, ice, hockey, something. You do you. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.